There we go. Oh, okay. It just now went live. I hope everyone can see me and hear me. I'm not going to play the intro again. I had a little hiccup over on YouTube, and I just wanted to make sure that you guys can hear me and see me, correct? Yes? Hello, hello? Good morning. I tried to load myself on Behance and didn't see me, but I should be here now. Let me see. Can you all see me? Hello? Good morning. Running late? Oh, I hope not. No. I wonder why you can't see me. Huh. Oh, you see me. Okay. All right. Everyone can see me. I'm so happy. All right. I'm not going to play the intro again because I did all of that already, but I had a hiccup over on YouTube. I could not get everything through to stream and all that. But that is fine because I'm here now and we are we're not doing too bad on time. It's only been a couple of minutes. So my name is Voodoo Val. I'm going to be your host again this morning for challenge number 3 of our 2 weeks of Monster Hunter challenges. We are still in October, and no one is taking the spooky element away from me. I'm gonna run this into the ground. Can't see you unless you're a ghost. Yeah, we're trying to be spooky, but we're not trying to be that spooky. I wanted to make sure I'm not talking to ghosts, and wanting to make sure you folks are not waiting for a ghost to begin the broadcast. Yes, we were worried, did a monster get you? Very nearly. I was fighting all sorts of foes this morning. All right, so before we jump into what I've got planned for challenge number 3, I am going to take you over to the landing page and jump into how you folks can get involved with me. And then we are going to look at the Discord, but I'm going to save that for the end of the stream because we are not only going to be working in Photoshop today, we're going to be jumping into Lightroom too. And I want to make sure that I have an ample amount of time to go through all of the points that I have prepared. So we will do that in a bit. So first off, if you folks want to head over to behance.net/challenge/Photoshop. It will take you to this cool page. You'll know you're in the right spot if it says October 26th to November 6th as the time frame for these challenges. You can hit this big blue button and register yourself for the challenges to get notifications and things every morning when I go live. And then you can also scroll down here to see the 1 through 4 on how does it work. Essentially, every day we have a challenge unlocked to you. We have done the inspiration board challenge. We did the design a logo challenge yesterday, and today we're going to be aging a photo. So what we're going to be doing, as I have said in previous challenges, is since all of these are themed around the Monster Hunter theme, we are going to be sort of creating something that goes along with this Monster Hunter storyline we've got going. But if you are not really into the theme, you do not have to participate in that aspect of the challenge. I just really love to give you folks a theme just in case it adds a little bit more inspiration to your project, maybe gives you a little bit of a boost when you sit down and you're not exactly sure what to create. So if you like to age a photo for a completely different kind of project themed around maybe you're working on an existing client project, or maybe you're working on a personal project, whatever it is, feel free to do that. But if you are following along with the theme, we are going to be creating an aged sort of filter over a photograph today that makes an image look like it has been taken and developed with a disposable camera. And I'm really excited about it. So you can come over here and say get started. You can click this button. It will give you the downloadable file that I have created for you today. And then you can always come back here and hit watch video so that you can come back and rewatch this stream after it's over and rewatch me go through all of the different points. You can join the Discord, which I'm going to pull up our little Discord link. It looks a little something like this, bit.ly/PS Discord. Making sure that P and that S are capitalized. So that you go to the proper server. And like I said, we are going to pull that up, but I'm going to do that towards the end because I would really like to dive into what we've got going for today. So if I pop over to my Photoshop, this is the starter file that I've prepared for you folks. It says just, edit a photograph in Lightroom and then distress it using effects in Photoshop. I've got an image credit here to Tyler, who has supplied this really awesome photo via Unsplash. So if you would like, please head over to that link and show that creator some love. And what I have done actually is, because I am going to use this in Lightroom, is I've just opened this image in Lightroom. I saved it as a PNG in my challenge files, and I have pulled it up in Lightroom like so. Now there's a lot of different things that you can do in Lightroom, and I don't have time to get into all of it. So what I'm going to say here today is there are all of these really wonderful tools for editing the colors and mood of your photo, for cropping, for spot healing, and repairing parts of your photo, for adding gradients and whatnot. But what we're going to focus on today is some of the sliders where the colors and mood are concerned. So I am just going to come over here and open up this little section, and I'm going to scroll down to the color section right here. And what I'm going to do, because I'm going to make this image look a little more dreary, a little more creepy, is I'm just going to turn the temp down a little bit and get a little more of that blue in there. I'm going to crank down the saturation, because I don't want everything looking so crazy. And I'm trying really not to be dramatic with this. I can also come in and in the light section, and I'm not really going to mess with the exposure and the contrast and all of that too much. I can crank up the blacks just a little bit if I want some more blacks in there, but what I don't want to do is come in here and like overexpose it and do all this crazy stuff. Like I'm not trying to change this image too drastically. I just want it to be enough, because when I get into Photoshop, I'm going to add some cooler effects versus warm effects, and so I want to see if I can get a little bit of the warmth out of this image before I start that. So let's see, what else can we do here? There is some color mixing going on here. If I set this to blue, I can come over here and kind of like pull that blue out. That actually doesn't look so bad. I did want to add more blue to it, but that actually is pretty cool because this blue is fairly saturated, but if I pull down the saturation in my color mixer, it actually sucks a little bit of that out, and it makes it not quite like a black and white image, but you know, I still have some of that nice green in the trees, but I think actually that I like this, so I might leave that there. I'm going to come over to my crop tool real quick, and I am actually going to cut out this reflection here. Like so, and then I'm also going to bring the top of my image down as well, because I kind of want this oriented in a manner. I'm going to go ahead and hit enter here. I kind of want this oriented in the kind of shape that you would get if you've ever taken a disposable camera to the shop to be developed. You usually get pictures about this size and shape. So that works really well for me. I'm going to come up here and to file, and I'm just going to say edit in Photoshop, and it's going to open up my image for me right in Photoshop as a TIFF file, and now I can go directly into editing as I like in Photoshop, which is really cool. So one thing we're going to do today that I love, this is a brand new thing that we just get to see at Max, and it is one of my brand new favorite tools, is we're going to use the sky replacement. Has anyone used sky replacement yet? I wonder in chat if anyone has experimented with it. Anyone? That was not Lightroom Classic. No, that was the Lightroom CC, the desktop version of Lightroom CC. Hello, Robert, it's good to see you. Well, if you folks have not used the sky replacement, I am about to blow some minds real quick. So what I'm going to do is I am going to pull my image over here just to make sure I can see my photo and also see my dialog box that's about to come up. I'm going to go to Edit, Sky Replacement, and get ready for this. Ooh, oof, ooh yeah. That's it. Basically what it's like when I'm sitting here designing by myself using this tool. Just a lot of oofs, okay? So I can come over here and I can actually select some different skies if I want to. Maybe add kind of a more dramatic sky. That actually works. That actually works really well. That looks great. We can try like some of these more dramatic clouds. That looks pretty cool too. I actually like that pretty well. You can come down here and we can shift the edge of our image here, and we can also fade that edge down, so we're kind of fading it through the sky that is already there a little bit. You can see like coming down here from the bottom of the mountains, how I'm kind of fading that back, and if I push that up, it kind of fades it back down to really kind of solidify our image that we've added in here with the sky replacement to make it look a little more natural. I can crank up the brightness on that if I want. I don't really for this image, but I can also change the temperature, because we can make it a little warmer, or we can make this a little bit cooler. I don't want it to be too cool where it's a little saturated, and I don't want it to be too warm. So I'm going to kind of leave that in the middle. And then you can also scale that image. You can make the image larger, or you can scale it down so you get a little more detail. One thing you want to keep in mind though is that this is an image it's throwing back here, so you can see the borders of my image that I've selected if I turn that scale down a little too far. So I want to make sure that I keep it cranked up. And I think I am going to use this image. I think this works, but I'm also going to grab just a couple of these super bright images first too, just to kind of show off part of this. So if I select this one, you can see it's actually going back here behind the trees. Like this one's a little easier to catch the drift of this. If I zoom in here, you can see it's actually, yeah, it's formulated this image back here behind the trees in my scene. It's really effectively replaced the sky in the image, not just selected this big open space here. So you can really make this look super realistic as you start to add photos in here. There's like some cool sunsets. We could even add a sunset if we wanted and get a sunset going back there. But I am actually going to use this photo. I think that one works. I'm going to scale it down just a tad, because I like having this texture right here. I think that looks like a nice dreary day. And then what I'm going to do is, just to make sure everything is working well together, something I like to do is do a quick photo filter pass. So I am going to click my adjustment layer button here underneath my layers panel, and I'm going to select photo filter. And I'm going to come in here, and you can, depending on the images that you're using, you can pretty much choose whatever you like here. This is one of my new favorite things to do, is just grab like a blue, and then I can turn the density down a little bit on this if I want, but it kind of just adds a nice little pass. Oh, you know what? I don't think I applied that that replace sky. I think I must have hit cancel instead, but no fear. I can just come in here and throw this in here real quick. Yeah, I think I must have hit cancel. So I'm going to say okay. So then you can see what it actually does here is it made a really nice mask and kind of created this sky for me, and it's all in its own group here. So I can even come in here and continue to edit it if I like. So there's that, and then we'll put our blue filter, and that just makes everything look really nice and cohesive. It works together. Honestly, I feel like if you showed this image to somebody, they wouldn't even know that you had replaced that sky and done something a little different, because it works so well. And then what I'm going to do is I am actually going to add a noise filter over the top of this, because like I said, now we have like kind of our photo edited, and we are going to start adding a little bit of an aging technique over here. So I am on a new layer with Control-Shift-In. I'm gonna grab my paint bucket, and I'm just gonna drop some white into here. I'm gonna actually rename this noise. Boom. And I'm gonna come up to Filter, Noise, Add Noise. And you can change the slider settings as much as you want if you want a tiny bit of noise, or if you want to kind of like fade it in. I kind of actually like it right there, just a little bit subtle. And I'm going to say okay, and then I'm going to put this on a soft light, I believe. That works. It's a little harsh. It is a little bit harsh. So I'm going to bump this down to a fill, like so, because I like that pretty well. Just to add a little bit of texture to this, because it's supposed to be like, you know, like a low quality kind of camera, disposable camera has taken this. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to select all of my images here, all of my elements. I'm grabbing the top layer, holding shift and selecting my bottommost layer, and I'm going to right click and convert this to Smart Object, because I'm going to start adding some effects over the top of this all at once, but making a smart object is a really great way of being able to edit all of the elements in a project, and then also having the capability of kind of unpacking it back to its original state afterwards. So if I wanted to, for instance, maybe I, you know, if I make a new layer here and I grab like some red and I just throw some red over here, and then I start, you know, adding some blending modes over the top, or maybe I double click the layer itself and I come in here and do like a color overlay and throw that on a blending mode. Let's grab something that's a little more dramatic. I can start doing all this, but maybe after I start working on it, I'm like, you know what? I don't like it. I'm really not a fan. You could actually right click this and just say convert to layers, and then I can turn the effects off of my group here and open my group, and I have all of my layers back to what I began with. So this is a really, really cool way to work. Highly recommend it. But with that, I'm gonna kind of go back here and just have my good old original smart object. What I am going to do is add kind of a tilt shift. And maybe I might also kind of mess with the levels a little bit just to make this slightly darker. So let's do levels first. I am going to go Control L to open up my levels panel, and I'm just going to bring in these darks, not too much. I don't want it to be over the top. I'm not trying to be crazy. I just want some of the trees to be a little bit darker, like so. Let's say okay. And then I am going to come up to Filter, Blur Gallery, and Tilt Shift. And then I'm going to kind of warp this around. I'm going to change this to like a slant, and I'm going to drag this down so we have like our street here, because we are going to come back to this image that we create in a future challenge for this 2 weeks, and we're going to add something creepy to this image. We're like preparing our canvas essentially during this challenge. So I know that in that challenge I am going to want to have kind of a focal point placed in here, and the way that I can do that actually is by blurring certain elements in my piece here without kind of heavily darkening and shadowing certain places. That's why I only added just a teeny tiny bit of kind of darkening those shadows before, without going over the top. And I think this works. I'm gonna kind of crank that up and kind of fade that through. I think what happens if we actually bring that down? Let's keep this slanted. I'm kind of slanting it with the edge of that street. Let's bump that up. And then I'm going to actually turn the blur down just slightly. That works for me. I'm going to say okay on that. And then the last thing I'm going to do, and you can add more textures and things to this if you prefer, but the last thing I'm going to do to really make this look like it was taken with a disposable camera is I am going to pull up my text tool by hitting T on my keyboard. I've got a really cool font called VCR OSD Mono, and I, with kind of an orangey color selected, I'm thinking like this maybe. I think that looks pretty good. I'm going to come over here and I'm going to write out the date because a lot of these developed photos from a disposable camera will just have the date printed in this like bright orange font in the corner. So I'm going to write today's date, which is October 29th, I believe. We are on the 29th. I'm going to double check so I'm not crazy. Not crazy yet. I know what day it is. October 29th, 2020. Maybe I'll change this to a more yellow hue there, like so. And then you can also double click to open up the layer styles, and then maybe we can also add kind of an outer glow, like so. You can put this on like a color dodge maybe, turn that opacity up, bring out that, I don't really want the noise. I'm not really seeing it. Oh, there we go. There it is. I don't want the size cranked up that much. There we go. Just a little bit of, just a tiny bit of outer glow. There we go. And then I wonder if it would even be cool to put a slight motion blur on this. So I'm gonna actually right click this and convert it to Smart Object. Ooh, maybe I'll put the effects on it afterwards. So let's convert that to a Smart Object. There we go. Then I'll double click and add some of that outer glow. Okay, I'll go to Filter, Blur, Motion Blur, and I'm going to not add that much motion blur. Let's crank that down just a little bit, just to kind of give it a little bit of something. There we go. Let's crank it down to like a 4. All right, and so that kind of gives it the old vibe of like I took this weird photo with a disposable camera. And then in our future challenge, we are going to add kind of a, maybe I could actually put this over in the darker side over here. I don't know if there's a specific side that it has to be on, but I think maybe I'll leave it over here because that looks a little better. But we are also going to add something scary to this image in a future challenge. So we're basically creating a clue of sorts that somebody could give to the monster hunter as like, look what I saw on the outskirts of town, kind of racing into the woods, or, you know, crawling across the street. I don't know what it is, but I need your help. We gotta hire you because there's some weird paranormal stuff going on the edge of town, essentially, is the narrative and the story that we're kind of building here with the Monster Hunter Challenge. That orange text is perfect. Yeah, doesn't it just look like I just like went to Walmart and got my camera images developed and brought them home, essentially. Another thing you could do too is like really distress it and grab like an old paper texture, or you can sometimes get a texture that's just like the creases and folds, so it really looks like an old folded photo. I don't really have time for that today, but you guys can do that. I would love to see you do it. And then we have like a minute and a half before I have to take off, so I do actually want to pull up the, oh! Leah has already done like a Lightroom selfie challenge. Great job, Layla. Layla the cat. Nice. I love the cat. Very cool. So awesome. But I do want to kind of pull this up and highlight, just kind of scroll through and look at some of the stuff that people have posted. This is awesome. This Zombie Hunter Squad Daily Creative Challenge from Diagonal Lee looks fabulous. I'm loving it. We've also got these really great insignias and logos coming in from Mia Moore and Jude Klinger, and also by As Seen by Jules. But I noticed that there is a gentleman in here by the name of Chris57 that says, hope this is fine, first time poster for the Inspiration Board Challenge. Welcome in, Chris. Thank you so much for coming to Behance and doing these challenges with us. I hope that you enjoy them. I'm going to stick around in the Discord and leave some feedback for you folks today, but that's all the time that I've got for now. I do have to take off. Please stay tuned for the next designer, and I will catch you later on today for the design off. Adios, everyone.